Hi guys, I'm back with another review of the British Grand Prix F1 2019 round 10. First of all, I'm sorry I haven't done any content recently. I've been majorly busy with revision for exams. I'm an accountancy student at University of Suffolk, and I'm busy doing exams at the minute, and I've still got one to go. And yeah, and I've also been on holidays as well, taking my work with me as well. So I'm sorry I haven't been able to do a video, but I'm back now and I'm going to do a British Grand Prix review, especially this one because I got to go to the British Grand Prix. If you see here, look, it's F1 experiences. So it's basically like a package, and it takes you like into the basically inside of Formula One, as close as you can get. Um, and it was probably the best 3.5 grand I've ever spent in my life. It was once in a lifetime opportunity. I went with my mum, and yeah, I didn't get to meet Lewis Hamilton like I wanted to. Um, who's basically my hero and has helped me through really tough times, being able to distract myself from having operations and stuff by switching off for 2 hours and watching the Grand Prix. Um, but I did give his head mechanic something that I painted, which was a canvas of him, plus a letter to say like thank you for helping me get through these tough times. Other than that, I had a podium photo opportunity. I've also had a picture with the championship, the trophies that the normal spectators and Formula One fans don't get to see, which is the drivers and constructors championship trophies, because they're given at a prize gala, so we don't get to see them give them. I think they should give them at the last race of the season, but that's just my opinion. Um, Also met Crofty, the F1 commentator, met a few F2 drivers, met Lando Norris, who's McLaren probably, hopefully, in the future be a replacement for Hamilton, especially since McLaren are on the up and they're doing really well. So let's get into the British Grand Prix itself, and it was looking like Ferrari had decent pace in practice, but again, it looked like Mercedes again had something up their sleeve. So they came to qualifying, and it was very, very close. But Bottas managed to beat Hamilton by 6 thousandths of a second. His first run, Hamilton, he made a mistake at Brooklands, which um, really I think in the end cost him. But yeah, 6,000. It could be any corner where it could be just that it's 1 mile an hour faster down a straight. So, and don't forget this race is a fully like about 80% is full throttle. I will quickly say also, whilst I was watching qualifying practice 3, the fan zone, which you all get to access even if you're general admittance, um, has amazing stuff, loads of food, and it's really expensive, the food, to be honest. But loads of stuff to do. My favourite bit was the esports, which is basically the F1 2019 game. But like the esports championship, where you lay back and you look like in the position of the driver. But obviously, for people competing, they had to have all the driver aids and that, which made it a lot easier for myself because in the game I don't have any driver aids, and I won the esports event, and I was 1/10. Or you get to do a fastest lap afterwards, and I was 1/10 off of a tenth or 500s off getting off winning a paddock tour for getting the fastest lap of the day, which I could have lost at any point at any corner. So yeah, shame that, but I think I did pretty well there. And the other major thing was the simulator. Mercedes bring a Mercedes simulator which plays a video. You go in the simulator, you play a video of Lewis Hamilton on his pole lap from Barcelona last year, and you do one lap where is the out lap, and you think that's bad enough with the G going left, right, left, like turns 1, 2, and 3. But then it's when he does the qualifying lap, and how they managed to cope with all that G-force, literally left, right, left, and then or right, left, right, as I was supposed to do it there, but being able to do that and adjust the settings to where you need them for the lap and all the other stuff, listening to team radio, drinks bottle, and all that, just shows why these drivers that earn as much as they do, and they are considered to be the best, and they are known to be the best drivers in the world, and why it's the pinnacle of motorsport. So, but yeah, qualifying, Bottas in the end edged out Hamilton in qualifying. Um, but I think Hamilton, obviously, a little disappointed he didn't get pole. He wanted to make up for it in the end. He wanted it. You can what we saw in the race. What you saw and what we all saw is just how much. Not so much. Every race for him matters. He wants to win every race, but you can see how much winning Silverstone meant to him, and just how relentless he was pushing Bottas, especially the first 4 laps. He looked like he had the lead on the fourth lap coming out of left field, but I think he said he was in the wrong gear, and Bottas managed to get him back down the next straight through the slipstream. But he's was just not letting up. And yes, people say, yeah, he won it because the safety car came out on lap 9, on lap 20, and that had been after Bottas pitted first. Hamilton decided to go a bit longer, which could have been one of two things. He wanted to try and give himself fresh tyres to the end, or was waiting for a safety car. And yes, people say he got lucky and got the safety car. I'd say, yeah, I think Bottas would have probably was closing him down, and he did need the safety car in the end. But it just shows again why he is a 5-time world champion, and why he's ahead in the championship, and why he looks like he's going to take a 6th world title. So, but yeah, we in the middle of the race, before obviously the safety car, Bottas pitted first. Then, well, no, out of the two Mercedes, that is, because even though they were fighting, you can see what Mercedes, the advantage they've got. It looked like they were back in 2014 when they had seconds advantage. The fact they could fight each other. I remember in Bahrain 2014, they were busy fighting each other every single corner, and yet they were just streaming away from the field about 3 seconds a lap. Obviously, it's not as bad as that this time, but they were fighting each other, and Ferrari and Red Bull just didn't have an answer to their pace, despite the fact that they were going slower because they were too busy fighting each other. So, yeah, another British hopeful, Norris, I'll quickly talk about him. He started 6th for the Grand Prix, and unfortunately, he was caught. He was one of the guys who pitted first, or pitted early, so he got caught out by the safety car, which meant the people who hadn't pit got the jump on him, and in the end he finished 11th, which was a shame. We met him at the Paddock Club Hospitality, which is another part of the package I was on, as well as a pit lane walk. You also had a guided track tour, like they do on the track parade. So yeah, shame for him, but though it's racing, it's what happens in racing, and but you could tell all weekend how much he loved the fact that he was winning his home Grand Prix. So it's yeah, we'll now move on to. I wanted to get those out of the way, the positives first, because I'm probably going out on a rant now. Verstappen and Red Bull's antics. Obviously, Verstappen ended up crashing into Vettel in the end, but before that, in his pit stop, um, it meant that he pitted early, same as, and then in front of them were the McLaren mechanics because they were all mixed up. They weren't like usually the first team who finished first last season, the first, then the second, then third, and fourth. They were all mixed up, and McLaren boys were out ready for their car, and Leclerc pitted with Verstappen on the same lap, and Leclerc looked like he got out and was going to get out in front. But then again, like in Monaco, Verstappen gets released into the path of Leclerc. Now, obviously, the gap is a lot wider, and that lane in the middle of the pit crews and the actual fast lane in the pit lane is wider. So he didn't have to force someone into the wall. But that line that was originally there is there for safety to protect the mechanics from cars coming down the pit lane. And he missed. I saw the replay over and over again. He missed the McLaren mechanics, by millimeters on his front wing. I mean, millimeters. And so much so that the mechanics had to move out the way. Now, I'm sorry, it's going to get to a point where, in the end, Red Bull or Verstappen, whichever way round, whoever wants to blame who, they are going to kill someone in that pit lane. People say, yeah, Vettel caused the problem and the crash, but Vettel was having a crash with Verstappen in cars that are virtually safe. The safest place to be in an accident is in the car, with the level of safety now in these days. Verstappen was millimeters from taking out the mechanics of McLaren. Just think on that. And no one thinks that he should get a penalty for it. Right? I'm just glad that he did get in front of Leclerc, because then Leclerc then had a DRS down the next straight so he can mug him off. And obviously there's unfinished business between him and Verstappen in Austria, which I don't care what any Dutch fan says. The rules state you give a car width of space to alongside him. Now, Leclerc was alongside Verstappen, and the lap before he gave him a car width of space. This time, he didn't need to give him even if he did give him a car width of space or two car widths, he would be able to get around that corner and be able to take the lead, right? Because that he was that much more in front. But he knew Leclerc was right beside him, and he runs him, literally bumps him off the road. Now, I'm sorry if people say, well, that's racing. Hang on a minute. We were all moaning when Rosberg took out Hamilton in 2016 in exactly the same corner, in exactly the same race, right? And everyone noticed that only complained, really, and what? Because Verstappen and Leclerc didn't have damage on their car, they should get away with it on the last lap. No, I'm sorry. If that's any other driver, they would have been nicked for that. They would have been nicked. It's politics. I believe now it's politics, right? They don't want to upset Verstappen because they're going back to Zandvoort next year, and they want the Dutch. They're doing it for the Dutch fans because there's so many of them. That's what I feel they're doing in a minute. It's not the first time politics has gotten into Formula One, and if you think it is, you clearly don't know what Formula One's about, right? Look up Prost and Senna in 1989, right? Politics. French president leans on the French driver. when it was actually the French driver's fault. Its politics have been riddled with Formula One and corrupted it. And I'm sorry, the rules are the rules. If you want the rules changed for next year, fine. But in the end, the rules state you give a car its a space. He didn't. He did it the lap before, so he knew it could be done, right? So Leclerc should have won that Grand Prix, and I'm glad Leclerc took it to him in this Grand Prix, in the British Grand Prix, and gave him a taste of his own medicine. He tried to do it fairly. Verstappen started getting aggressive again with his tactics, so Leclerc just gave him a taste of his own medicine and cut across him in a braking zone and forced him off the road as well. And then Verstappen, out of all people, has the cheek, the audacity to then sit there to his engineer and complain. You're the one that kept changing your direction in the braking zone that caused accidents. So don't now start suddenly moaning that people are doing it to you. Treat others how you wish to be treated. Very easy code to remember, right? People say it was Vettel's fault, and yeah, partly it was Vettel's fault with that crash, right? But part of me thinks he couldn't work out where Verstappen was going to be because if he went left, he cut him off to the left. If he went right, he cut him off to the right. And that's what Ricciardo tried to do last year, right? Verstappen went right because Ricciardo tried to go around the outside and then tried the cutback. And Verstappen, sorry, got a bit of a hiccups. And then Verstappen cut back across him. And then people why Ricciardo outbraked himself and ran straight into him. You can't cut. You can only move once in a braking zone. And on board, you could see the steering wheel twitching. Now, at very high speeds, twitching like that would be twitching like this, which is weaving. So, yes, it was Vettel's fault, but Verstappen had his own responsibility in that crash, right? I'm sorry, because if he had not been doing his same antics beforehand, we would have never had to worry about where he's going to go in a braking zone because no one can work it out. So Verstappen is becoming, I feel he's becoming more arrogant by the minute. By the minute. He needs to realise there have been race winners in Formula One, but no one knows about them. Not many, apart from the real F1 fans, right? You ain't done nothing yet, right? Until you've won a world title. Then people will remember you. They always will remember the champions, right? So watch how you're behaving. That's what I say, because there are drivers like Hamilton, right? And yes, Vettel made a mistake, but like Vettel as well, that have come into Formula One the same as you, had their accidents, and now they're better drivers and they are world champions. So my advice would be, right? Yes, you can say, yeah, it was his fault, right? And right, I don't know what he was doing, but then if you do the same thing and then they're moaning, take the time to listen because that's what Vettel did with you last year when you ran into him in China, and what Hamilton did for you when you tried to take his front wing off in Bahrain last year as well. Right, sit down and listen because they've been through the same thing. Where no matter what they did something. So, right? So that's all I'm gonna say on Verstappen because he is literally now winding me up. He really is winding me up. I like Verstappen as a driver. He's a very good driver. Could be one of the champions. But I sit here at the minute and think Leclerc, who's only been here for 2 seasons, while Verstappen's been here since 2015, right, is going to be a world champion before Verstappen ever becomes one. Right? because the way he goes about things, he's not arrogant, right? He doesn't say, I'm this, I'm that, the other, right? He knows that it's a team sport, right? Like Hamilton, he knows it's a team sport, and without the team, he's nothing, right? He's calm. He It takes a lot to wind for Leclerc up than it does for Verstappen, right? He's got a very, very good way of dealing with things in Formula One, Leclerc, and I think Verstappen could learn that, to be honest, because Leclerc is a little bit, and no wonder people compare him to Bianchi, because Bianchi was the same. He was never arrogant, right? He was always smiling and always um, never blaming the team. Verstappen hasn't done that, but I do feel if he carries on the way he is, he will probably start blaming the team, and then the team will just go, "Bye, missing you already." Um, but yeah, in the end, with the safety car helping Hamilton out, by which it was obviously an Alfa Romeo, and we were staying in a 4-star hotel as part of the package with with the Alfa Romeo mechanics. And at the end of the weekend, I did say to him, "Thanks," by the way, and they couldn't understand why, and then they realised I was a Hamilton fan, so I just said, "Thank you." Like, I know it's hard, like, because you car retired, but thanks, which they laughed, and yeah, so Hamilton cruises now. He's got 6 British Grand Prix, the most that any driver has won around that circuit. He is joint first with a number of wins at their home Grand Prix with Alain Prost. And he's just setting now more records and breaking more records by the minute. And no one seems to have an answer to stop him at the minute. So, as it stands after that race, he's now what Hamilton's on 223, Bottas is on 184, which to I am just going to quickly work this out, by the way. Just going to quickly work this out on my phone. So, yeah, 223 minus 184, 39 points the lead. So he's now a whole race, nearly 2 races now, in front of Bottas, and looking like it was in 2015, which is no one had an answer, and he just cruised and cruised and cruised. And some of those races, like Monaco, have not been easy. The British Grand Prix, I'm sure, wasn't easy because he had to chase down Bottas, and yes, and then try and pass him until the safety car came out. That is, yeah, he's not had it all his own way at times. Bottas has stepped up, but this is Hamilton we're on about, and this is Hamilton, and it's with his Mercedes guys, and Mercedes are now running away with the championship as well. Second place is Ferrari, and we all talked about Ferrari pre-season, and they just disappeared. They've got no answer to Mercedes at the minute, and really, no one knows why. No one knows why. So the Constructors' Championship now after this race is, if I can, the difference is 164, and it's what 25, 26, no 27, sorry, because there's an extra point in the constructors if you get fastest lap, which was got by Hamilton on the last lap on tyres that were 32 laps old. Let's not forget that. It just shows how much pace he had on that weekend and how determined he was that weekend. So yeah, 45 points to lead. So yeah, so what is it? 407 divided by 43. Trying to work it out. And I'm looking at the history. So just give me 1 second. So that's now what? Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'll just trying to work it out, but it's looking like another world title for Mercedes and Hamilton, and that'll be Hamilton's 6th world title and Mercedes' 6th consecutive world championship, which would be Ferrari's record of no, it would equal Ferrari's record because they got 1999 Constructors' Championship for consecutive World Championships, 6 in a row, and Hamilton would have won 5 of his, if he wins this title, this is 5 of his 6 titles in the last 6 years. It's just incredible, and he's still got a long way to go. He could quite easily equal Schumacher's record before the new major rules that are coming in 2021. But yeah, so we move on to the German Grand Prix this weekend, and we all know what happened there this time last year, again with Hamilton 14th to 1st. So yeah, hopefully for me it'd be another Hamilton victory. For the fans, I'm sure they just rather anyone but Mercedes winning his race, because they've won, apart from Austria, they've won 9 Grand Prix. So, and that was the 9th Grand Prix. So before that, they've won 8 in a row, and it was 8 1-2s in a row. It's just insane. So yeah, we move on to Austria, right? And like I said, sorry that I have not been around, but I'm back now. And I'm sorry this video has taken so long to do. But so yeah, let me know what you think about the Grand Prix. What you think about do you think Verstappen's reckless? And that Red Bull and Verstappen need to be punished more, as in terms of the rules that what they state in. Let me know every single thought you have. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will also be out with a video soon about my 3rd and 4th transplant, so look out for that at some point. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Right, come on, up and away, Lewis Hamilton.